فصل في الحث على طلب العلم والعمل والتعليم واطلب علوم الدين وارقى إلى اليقين فالعلم قوت القلب فيه رضاء الرب.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us in another edition of Faslun Reminders. I hope that everyone watching or listening in to this recording is well and excited as we approach Ramadan. Ramadan is from the shi'ar or the signs or symbols of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And like other shi'ar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ramadan deserves veneration. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Hajj in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ, meaning that whosoever venerates the shi'ar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of which Ramadan is one of them, it is an indication of taqwa, piety in the heart. And having taqwa is an objective of the sawm, the fast, in particular of fasting in Ramadan. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Meaning, O you who believe, the sawm has been made obligatory or wajib upon you, just as how it had been made compulsory or wajib upon the people before you, so that you will have taqwa. So this is the objective of the fast, in particular the fast in Ramadan. So the question is, how do we venerate Ramadan and grow in taqwa to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The answer is that we venerate Ramadan with amal, acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are amal of the heart and amal of the body. From the amal of the heart, which corresponds with veneration of the shi'ar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and are amongst the signs of healthy iman, is that one has shukr, thankfulness, and surur, elation at the arrival of Ramadan. We should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to reach this blessed month of Ramadan, because many of our brothers and sisters in Islam did not live long enough to meet this Ramadan. We should be elated at the arrival of Ramadan, because it is from the mercies and the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon his servants from the ummah of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is a month where rewards are multiplied manifold, such that we could be rewarded in the hereafter as if we had made amal in this dunya for hundreds of years or more, despite our short lifespan. Subhanallah. As for the amal of the physical body, other than the obligatory siyam or sawm, fasting, we also have salah nafila, which is the voluntary salah. We also have qiyamul layl and leavening the nights or the night virgil, and tilawatul Quran, reading or recitation of the Quran, all of which could have been performed in other months as well, but performing the sunnah from these three things earns one the rewards of performing it as if it were a wajib act. In a hadith narrated by Imam al-Bayhaqi, Rasulullah ﷺ said to the people on the last day of Sha'ban, prior to the imminent arrival of Ramadan, O people, a great month, a venerated month, a month containing a night which is better than 1,000 months, يعني Laylatul Qadr, this month has approached you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed fasting for it as a wajib act of worship, and enlivening the night with voluntary acts as a sunnah act of worship. The one who draws near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during it, yani during Ramadan, with a good act will be like the one who fulfills a wajib act in another month. And the one who fulfills a wajib act in it will be like the one who fulfills 70 wajib acts in other months. It is the month of sabr, of patience, and the reward for sabr is Jannah. It is the month of sharing with others, a month in which the believer's provision is increased. If someone feeds a fasting person, yani providing the fasting person with iftar, that act will become a reason for him to gain forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and emancipation from the hellfire. And he will have a reward equal to the reward of the one fed without his reward being diminished in any respect. So we learn from this hadith a number of valuable things about the merits and virtues of Ramadan. Firstly, we learn that there's a night in it called Laylatul Qadr, where the rewards of worship therein will be like the rewards of worship for 1,000 months. Laylatul Qadri khairum min alfi shahr, meaning Laylatul Qadr is a night where worship in it is better in reward than 1,000 nights of worship. Subhanallah. Secondly, there is a wajib obligatory fast in it. In a hadith Qudsi, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bih. Meaning the sawm is for me, yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I will be the one who rewards for it. Meaning the rewards for fasting is unlimited. And some of the ulama say that this hadith is an indication that since there's no physical act to account for your sawm, it will be based on sincerity in performing the act. And sincerity is something which only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can judge upon and reward. Thirdly, there is Qiyamul Layl. Some call it the night virgil. The point of it is to enliven the night with acts of obedience. So there are a number of amal, acts that one can do in the Qiyamul Layl. Typically, when we hear Qiyamul Layl, most of us would think about performance of Salah Nafilah, the voluntary Salah in the depths of the night. Whilst this may be one of the things that you can do in your Qiyamul Layl, it need not necessarily be so. One could be fulfilling Qiyamul Layl by reciting the Quran in the depths of the night, or making dhikrullah, or he could even be revising his understanding of the sacred law at that time. All of these things would fulfill performance of the Qiyamul Layl. So that's about the acts of ibadah that one can perform. So how much time should one commit in performing this amal to fulfill the Qiyamul Layl? The Qiyamul Layl could be something as light as performing 2 rak'ahs of Salah Nafilah before or after your suhoor meal. That would maybe take about 5 minutes of your time. So for example, if you've not completed all 11 rak'ah of witr, because you only did 3 rak'ah after your 20 rak'ah of tarawih, or maybe you've missed doing the ba'diyah of Isha following the Fard Isha prayers, you can catch up on this salah at suhoor time. Ideally though, you should be dedicating mu'dhamul layl, most of the night performing Qiyamul Layl. What is mu'dhamul layl? To get the minimum number of hours and minutes that qualify for mu'dhamul layl, take the start time for Maghrib and the start time for Fajr. The middle point is muntasifil layl, what is technically midnight to the fuqaha. The number of hours and minutes that lie on either side of muntasifil layl is what is half of the night. So doing a little bit more than half of the night would constitute performing Qiyamul Layl for a period that is mu'dhamul layl, majority of the night. So how would one manage all this with schooling and one's work schedule? If you're busy with school, example on a weeknight, then maybe performing just 2 rak'ahs of Salah Nafilah will suffice for you. But on your off days, strive to dedicate or put aside mu'dhamul layl for ibadah. And one tip that I'd like to share with you, vary what you do. Have a variation of ibadah. Do a combination of Salah Nafilah, Quran recitation, making dua, making dhikrullah to avert boredom. One of the things that you can do is maybe you can pray 2 short raka'ah when you wake up, and then do some Quran recitation, and then make some dua or dhikrullah, and then repeat this cycle one more time if you have the time to do it. These are just some suggestions, and you may have other suggestions. The most important thing is that you dedicate your time to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fourth thing that we learn from this hadith is that when you make a sunnah amal in Ramadan, it is possible for you to obtain the rewards of a wajib amal outside of Ramadan. In order of merit and reward, the wajib acts generally carry more rewards than the sunnah acts of worship. In Ramadan, every one of your sunnah acts are rewarded as if they were wajib. The fifth thing that we take away from this hadith is that doing a wajib act of worship in Ramadan is like fulfilling 70 wajib acts of worship outside of Ramadan. We hope this motivates you to strive to get the most out of these great gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you should strive to not just perform the fard salah, but to perform it in jama'ah as best as you can. Or better still, perform it in jama'ah at the masjid. Or go one up on that by performing it in jama'ah in the masjid, obtaining takbiratul ihram with the imam. The rewards are endless. The sixth thing that we learn from this hadith is about sharing with others. Sadaqah derives rizq for the one giving the sadaqah. Contrary to the fikrah of someone with a secular mind, spending your wealth on others actually increases your wealth. And the hadith specifically mentions feeding others for iftar, breaking the fast in Ramadan. The one feeding will get forgiveness from sins and freedom or emancipation from the shackles of hellfire, and he will share in the rewards of the person fed without any decrease of reward on the part of the person fed. In acting on this hadith, know that you don't have to actually prepare a full meal to obtain this reward, because what is meant here is the iftar itself. And it suffices for you to give or offer a fasting person some fresh or dried dates and water. So we hope that this sharing benefits you and that you're able to act on this and obtain the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the blessed month of Ramadan. And we wish you all Ramadan Mubarak. Taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.